If you wanted a game in 2020 that looks, feels and plays just like an N64 classic, then Shyness has got you covered. This game took me back to the late 90s playing on the old N64, granted with a better controller now and marginally better graphics, but I had a lot of fun nevertheless. So let's take a look at Shyness. In Shyness, you start off playing as Shadow. He's a little dude with an attitude, and after crash landing on an island from his airship, you quickly find yourself in the middle of a conflict between two parties that hate one another when all you want to do is find your friend and slap him about for just abandoning ship. All the characters and the story I found to be utterly charming, and once you get the airship up and running again, you can travel from place to place, completing normal action RPG missions, and that's what this game is. It's an action RPG. The combat is really cool, but the story itself I found very charming, especially the cutscenes, which are sort of animated comic book pages that are very well animated and very well voice acted as well. I found all the characters I fell in love with. They all have their own interesting quirks and their own interesting abilities to be used within the game, and Shadow himself with his friends, it's a ton of fun. But you are tasked then with bringing together and unifying all the civilizations of Mahara. Can you do it? We'll see. Like I said, the game is an action RPG, and with that you get to run around, and like I said at the beginning of this review, it feels like an N64 game. If you've ever played like Donkey Kong 64, Mario 64, Banjo-Kazooie, Jet Force Gemini, all the really old classic N64 titles, it feels like that. That's the kind of vibe I was getting. You can explore these massive islands that are just so rich in different areas like swamplands or, beautifully lighted forests or on the beaches. And of course with that comes enemies. Now the combat is pretty cool. It's a bit like weird once you get into it, but when you just figure out that you just punch away with square on the PlayStation, and then you can parry with triangle, and if you time it right with their projectiles, you can rebound their projectiles back at them. You can also then utilize different arts that you can learn as Shadow, which are different combos that you can pull off. And along with his other friends, you can utilize magic, and depending on the color of the arena, and if you hold R2, you can sort of charge up the magical element for what the color is for the arena, and it changes periodically. Now you do level up and gain experience points. There's no skill trees as such, you just tend to learn new arts. You take on main quests as well as side quests and monster contracts, which I thought was a really cool touch and gives some sort of side activity. There are plenty of little animals and knickknacks for you to collect, and chests in the form of like silver balls on a pole that are just strewn all over the place. This game is ripe with the need for exploration. You can just find so much, and there are so many optional puzzles that can be solved with each character's individual abilities, that then you will be able to unlock new areas, new equipment, and you can also obviously buy new equipment and items from vendors. You can gain new it's all stat based basically. You don't get to change the characters like cosmetically, but you can, it's like Final Fantasy, the old Final Fantasies. You equip different like gloves, armor, helmets, that kind of stuff to sort of increase or decrease certain stats, which again I think is a pretty cool thing. And I mean, I'm all for RPGs, so I was all over it. Shyness is a very cool, very fun action RPG. Now bear in mind it is a budget title. This is an indie game, so don't go in expecting AAA quality stuff. The controls can be a little bit janky at times. There are things that they do feel old school. It does feel old school, but then I'm a 32-year-old gamer, so that's fine with me. I mean, I'm all about that old school business. But yeah, I don't think I had any problems with frame rate that I can remember. I had no crashes. Just overall, it goes on very cheap on the PlayStation Store very often, and if you haven't picked it up, it's worth picking up because it's just a damn good time to just pick up and play as and when you feel like it. Or if you get really invested like I did and you just want to plow through, it can take you between 20 to 30 hours to do all the all the content in the game. Maybe around 25ish if you want to just do the main story, but obviously leveling up is a must. You do have to do a little bit of grinding because some of the bosses can be challenging as hell, especially the first optional monster hunt boss. Just a little heads up for you, go in with plenty of potions and antidotes because he will savage your ass. But Shyness and the Lightning Kingdom is definitely worth a play. It's really good indie RPG and it gets a very solid 7 out of 10 from me. But please let me know what you think about it. Have you bought it? Are you going to buy it? Have you been watching it? Please let me know down in the comments. And if there are any RPGs that you'd want me to check out, or any other games for that matter in the indie market that you'd like for me to review and check out, please let me know down in the comments. Like the video if you want to, you know, it helps me out a lot, and please subscribe for more videos like this. But thank you very much for watching, and until next time, take it steady.
They're reunited.
At least that's one thing taken care of.
Shadow! I thought you were...
Not very fashionable, huh?
I didn't know what else to say.
What's wrong with my bandana? Have you seen those glasses you're wearing? Useful for jumping ship, right?
Rosalia, it's time.